Right now, the weather patterns across the U.S. could cause an uptick in severe weather once again. Also, Hurricane Lee is about to make landfall in Canada, near the U.S. border. Meanwhile, a strong heat wave will be impacting the desert southwest. But first, we need to talk about the devastation near the Mediterranean Sea. Medicane Daniel. A Medicane is a hurricane that forms out in the Mediterranean Sea. Medicane Daniel ravaged the town of Derna, Libya, with unusually high waves and heavy downpours. Over 6,000 people are dead and 10,000 people are missing. All we can do right now is to keep the families affected in our prayers. Sadly, we do have some more tropical updates that will impact people. Hurricane Lee will make landfall sometime soon. The National Hurricane Center and the majority of computer models predict Lee to make landfall somewhere in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, or the eastern Maine sometime Saturday. However, Lee will be, and is already huge for a hurricane, with its cloud shield extending nearly 1,500 miles and tropical storm force winds extending over 500 miles in diameter. This will bring impacts to a wide range location from Long Island, New York to Newfoundland, Canada. Lee is moving parallel to New England. Any small shifts to the west will cause an increase of impacts there. However, as of right now, eastern New England is expected to only see minor rainfall from 1 to 2 inches, and perhaps some gusty winds, particularly on Cape Cod. The most pressing impact in New England right now is storm surge. 15-foot waves on top of 1 to 3 foot surge will likely lead to substantial beach erosion in many areas of the New England coastline. Eastern Maine, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick is expected to deal with a wider variety of impacts. That includes storm surge between 1 and 4 feet, 2 to 4 inches of rain, and more widespread tropical storm force winds, in addition to 20-foot waves that will cause major beach erosion along the shores of Maine and Nova Scotia. Now, Lee is not as strong as what he once was, nor would he make landfall very strong. I mean, at one point in time, he was a Category 5, but that's not what we're looking at here. And that does not mean we need to take this situation any less lightly. Make sure you follow all evacuation orders if they are issued. Make sure you do it in an orderly fashion because not only your life is at stake, so are others. Now, if you decide to ride it out, make sure you have everything you need: bottled water, canned food, life jackets, whistles, even flares, so you can be found if you have to evacuate your home. At the end of the day, it is your job to help them help you. So what happens after Lee? Well, we have Margot, but she's expected to stay out in sea. There's a new area of disturbed weather in the tropical Atlantic, but this is also modeled to stay out to sea for now, with a good long-range agreement. Meanwhile, the northeastern U.S. outside of Lee should actually see very nice weather. With hurricanes, you get a lot of sinking motion around the hurricane outside of the circulation to make up for the strong rising motion inside of the hurricane. This helps bring drier air from way in the atmosphere down to the surface, keeping storms and rain at bay. Although around Baltimore we've been seeing a good bit of rain, but for the next few days it should be beautiful. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will become more common at the beginning of next week. Now that the fall months are upon us, a lot of people are starting to ask the questions, when is severe weather coming back? Well, although this is a little ways out, we do have a bowling ball trough or a dip in the jet stream moving into the lower plains next week or so. Kinematics are favorable for a possible severe weather setup. Instability being moderate and shear being over 30 knots. Although it is still over a week out, several of our best models have been consistent with this possible setup. Outside of the dip in the jet stream I just talked about, we do have a few more trough setups or dip in the jet streams coming up, training kind of like they do in the springtime, kind of towards the end of the month. Now, taking our attention off of severe weather for just a second, Southern California, particularly the San Joaquin Valley, Arizona, and the Southern Plains, will be getting hot once again with the highs in the upper 90s and the low 100s during the day. Once again, I'd like to bring up Medicane Daniel. Our hearts are with the families that was impacted, and our thoughts go out to every single person. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we are now monetized, so if you feel obligated to, click that join button. That would help us further everything. That would help us upgrade our equipment and help fund chases for you guys. So, y'all stay where they're aware.